my previous one, but another one that I'm extremely passionate about. And I know I'm completely ridiculous in saying this, but I get like immense anxiety thinking about the amount of children in car seats that are incorrectly installed, or just the wrong one for them, or obviously the worst is that no car seat at all. So I'm going to get straight to it. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. If you'll just let me know if that's okay. I'm going to be helping you choose the correct car seat, or giving you at least the information so that you can go out and choose the correct car seat. So how I got here. Okay, so when I was pregnant, nobody spoke to me about car seat safety, and in hindsight, I can't understand why. It makes no sense to me how something of such importance no one talks about. You know, you hear all the usual stuff, but no one speaks about how the car seat should be installed, that not every car seat meets the same safety criteria, that not every car seat will fit into your car. And I didn't know. I was completely oblivious that this was a reality. So I went to Mama Magic and I bought a travel system, and I got it at a great price, and I thought I'd done the right thing. And when it was delivered to me at home, so excited, you know, it was such an exciting feeling, you know, like it's all becoming real. And then when I fitted the car seat into my car, my seatbelts were too short and the car seat didn't fit. And I panicked, and I was nervous, and I was anxious about it. And I was just, I was so anxious about the fact that this car seat that I'd bought and all this huge amount of money I'd spent didn't fit my car. And I was angry. Actually, I was really angry that a car seat was sold to me, and they didn't say to me, if you have short seat belts, it's not going to work. You're going to need a base. Nobody said that. And I was angry about it. And anyway, so I got a base and the solution was fixed, but still it happened, and I was upset about it. And then I bought 3 secondhand car seats from my colleague and my school principal at the time. You know, no expenses spared on her kids' car seats, and I trusted her. And then they were severely damaged. I did not know what to check for. I tossed those 3 car seats and tossed away 5,500 Rand in the process. And again, I was disappointed in myself, and I was angry with myself. And how could I trust somebody like this? You know, I knew them, but why would I trust them with my child's safety? And I started becoming a little bit, I don't want to say it, but a little bit paranoid. And I started doing copious amounts of research. And that kind of led me to do a car seat safety awareness course. So I am a qualified car seat safety awareness advisor. I do not know every single car seat on the market, but I do know what to look for and how to install a car seat correctly, and whether the car seat will or won't fit your car correctly. So at no point do I want you to panic about either the car seat you have or the car seat you will buy. I'm here to help you and guide you, and please don't panic about it. It's okay. We will get your child the best car seat that you can afford. Okay, so just to highlight the key points that I'm going to discuss with you is what you actually need to look for on a car seat. So you need the very basics you need to know. I'm going to discuss rearward and forward facing car seats with you. I'm going to go over installation. I'm going to go over the various types of installation. You'll see some very amateur videos of me installing a few car seats. My husband is no cameraman. and you will definitely hear my little boy shouting in the background, but you will get the gist of it, and I'm super happy to help you install your car seats if you are close by, or by virtual demo. Okay, so where do you start? Before you can choose a car seat, you really need to know what you're looking at. The very minimum safety standards that car seats are currently tested at is ER 4404. This is the minimum safety standards that car seats that are currently being made are tested at. If you find a car seat that says ECER 4403, although it is currently still legal to use, they are no longer allowed to be made or sold, and that happened in 2006. So you can be quite sure that those car seats are extremely old. Moving on from ECER 4404, we now have a new safety standard called Regulation 129 or R129, and you've probably heard of iSize. iSize fits into Regulation R129, difference being that your iSize car seats use ISOFIX only. So they are not a seat belt, you're not able to fit them with a seat belt. So I'm going to show you the label you need to look for, and it's probably one you have already seen. This is a big orange sticker on your car seat that you will find. This label is going to tell you what safety regulation the car seat adheres to and what it was tested under. So it would either say ECER 4404, iSize, which is R129, or R4403 if the seat is extremely old. It'll also tell you the fitting, whether it's universal, semi-universal. It'll give you your height and weight restrictions. If there is a Y, that depicts it's a Y harness, so over the shoulders and the crotch. Then you're going to have your E1. You might find a variety of different numbers there. That tells you where the car seat was tested. So it could be Germany, Sweden, it could be any of those countries. Then you'll find a certification number and a serial number. One of the most important things you can look for on your car seat, particularly if you're buying secondhand, is the date of manufacture. Now, car seats expire. I didn't know that. And if I had known that, it would have been something I would check on the car seats that I did buy secondhand. But they do expire, and it is extremely important that you find the date of manufacture on your seat and then see how long that seat, what the lifespan is on that seat. Different car seats have different lifespans. So you might find that some car seats have a 7-year lifespan, some have a 10-year lifespan. Cybex says 2 children. So you really have to check in your manual to see what the lifespan is of that car seat. So you're either going to find it as a label, like you'll see on the bottom left, where it's got a date, which is super easy to understand, or you might find like a stamp into the plastic, usually underneath the seat, that looks kind of like a sundial, which will have the year and the month. So this one would be July 2015. Okay, so I want to go over the testing that they would do for an ECER 4404 seat, and then we'll compare it to the testing done for a Regulation 129 seat. So crash testing would include how the car seat fits to the vehicle, whether there are clear and permanent drawings on the car seat to show the user how to install it and how to use it, how to install it correctly. There should be color-coded routing. If your car seat can install rearward and forward facing, you're going to have 2 color-coded guides. red guides are for forward facing and your blue guides are for rearward facing. The seat needs to be designed in such a way that your child can't submarine out of it. So that would mean that the child can't actually slide out the seat. So their bum would be below their knees, and the seat should not be able to slide off the vehicle seat either. The instructions on the car seat need to be clear. If there are any warnings like the side impact protection mechanism can only be open on the door side of the car, that would need to be there. If there is washing instructions, it would need to be clear. If it cannot be next to an airbag, that would need to be very clearly marked. There also needs to be a place with information with regards to who you can contact if you need to. Then they check the buckle. The buckle needs to be red in color. They're going to open that buckle 5,000 times before they do a pressure test on that buckle. So they're going to open that buckle 5,000 times, open and close it 5,000 times before they do the pressure test on it. And then there needs to be optimal support and continual support for their head and neck if in a rear facing car seat. So those are the crash testing criteria and an ECE R4404. So now what is the major difference between your ECE R4404 and your regulation 129? Okay, so they test for rear impact on both, and that's currently tested at 30 kilometers an hour. They test for front impact at 50 kilometers an hour. They overturn the vehicle, the car seat needs to stay in place when the vehicle is upside down. And then there's side impact testing. Side impact testing is not compulsory for R44 seats, but it is compulsory for the regulation 129 seats. So the general improvements when we come to the I-size or the regulation 129 car seats is they changed the test bench for the crash testing. So it's more like a vehicle seat. Currently our vehicle seats are fairly sloped, so they have changed the test bench to be more like a vehicle's car seat. No rethread harness. So you will see on this chair, it's got a variety of different slots where you would have to physically move the straps into each slot. This means you're going to have to disconnect the seat belt from the yoke, which is what connects the belt to the seat, and unthread it and rethread it into the correct slot. So your regulation 129 car seats no longer have that, and you adjust your harness by adjusting the headrest of the car seat itself. They also then need to have more warnings and much simpler labels, so you know exactly what's going on and how to install the seat. Then they need to have an anti-rotation device. So this is now compulsory, and this would avoid any kind of pivoting or movement of the car seat on impact. So there are a variety of anti-rotation devices, and you may have one, you may have two. It's going to depend on the car seat itself. So the load leg, okay, so you've got the load leg, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Then you've got this top tether. Okay, so the top tether actually goes over the back of the vehicle car seat, and then it clips onto a tether or a little mechanism, for lack of a better word. So this little seat with an anchor over the back is your top tether logo. And you might find them in various places of your car. So they could be in the boot, they could be on the parcel shelf, they could be on the roof, they could be behind the seat. Just please don't confuse them with a parcel latch, or the parcel one is usually silver in color. Then you've got lower tethers. So you often find your lower tethers on extended rear-facing car seats, ones that usually go to about 25 kilos. These connect to the rails of the passenger seat or the driver seat and through tethers, which are then attached to the car seat. So you see on this car seat here, this is a Britax or Volvo Maxway car seat here, and it's got the load leg and it's got lower tethers. So those are your anti-rotation devices. Okay, so now I don't want anybody to think that ISOFIX car seats are the safer option, because they are not necessarily the safer option. There are, in fact, car seats that get better safety results installed with a seatbelt as opposed to an ISOFIX. The benefit of ISOFIX is that it limits installation errors. And that is important. No car seat, it doesn't matter how safe it is, any independent safety test that's gone through, if it is not installed correctly, it is not going to function correctly. And that is a serious thing. So the whole idea between I-size seats was to limit user error. So ISOFIX brackets and an ISOFIX car seats attach directly to the chassis of the vehicle. So they're super easy to install and very quick as well. So if you're moving car seats from one car to another, it is a quick and easy solution while limiting user error. Any car seat that you install, whether it is ISOFIX or seatbelt, needs to have, it cannot have more than 20 mils of left to right movement at the base of the seat. So you put your non-dominant hand at the base of the seat, move it side to side. If it has more than 20 mils of movement, it is not secured properly. Please keep in mind that whatever aftermarket product you decide to fit to your car seat, you are creating a seat that is further and further away from the way in which the seat was crash tested. So if you decide you're going to put in an extra cushion for baby's head, you need to understand that that's not the way the car seat was crash tested. If you are going to put a towel underneath the car seat because you want to protect the vehicle seats, you need to understand that that is not the way the car seat was tested, and you are potentially changing the way the car seat would perform in an accident. So please, please keep this in mind when you see aftermarket products in a baby shop and you think they might be a good idea. So rear facing. Now, rear facing has become more and more popular, and as we are moving to I-size and extended rear-facing seats, we are starting to see seats that enable children to stay rear-facing for a lot longer. So the best way to really understand the benefits of rear-facing is to understand the anatomy of a baby, toddler, or young child. So a baby's head weighs roughly 25% of their body weight, and their skeleton contains a lot more cartilage than an adult, and many bones haven't been fused together. And as you know, their neck is very weak. In a car accident, an infant's neck can stretch up to 2 inches in a collision when in forward-facing mode. And this is not something that the spine is actually capable of. And worst case scenario would be internal decapitation. When a child is in rear facing, the harness does not catch the child. The child is pushed further into the back of the seat, which has a greater surface area and puts less pressure on the head, neck, and spine. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to show you two videos, and if I can work it out. And I just want you to give them a watch because it makes it so much easier to see if I can work it out. There we go.
If you can, wherever that video is it in your presentation?
No, I'm going to hit YouTube. So okay. I'm just resharing to YouTube.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay, so I'm going to go one after the other. So let's have a look here.
Every year, many car accidents take place at speeds of 50 kilometers an hour or more. Children are especially at risk, and correct positioning of the child's safety seats is therefore very important. We will now take a look at what happens if your child is sitting forward-facing in a frontal collision. If the child is sitting forward-facing in a frontal collision, this exerts huge forces on the shoulder and neck regions, as well as on the child's head. This can lead to death or permanent injuries as paralysis. If your child is sitting rear-facing during a collision, the force will be spread over a greater area of the body, and there'll be less pressure on the neck, head, and inner organs. If your child sits rear-facing instead of forward-facing, this reduces the risk of serious injuries and death by more than 90%. Children should therefore be seated rear-facing as long as possible, or until they are 4 years old.
Okay, so that's the first one, and then I just want to show you another one. This is from a doctor's perspective. So
young children.
Here we go.
The reason that it's so important for kids to be rear-facing is their head is very heavy and their neck is not well developed. The most deadly kind of car accidents are the head-on collisions, and in the rear-facing position, your child's head and neck is cradled in that really solid support. If you turn your toddler around, the first thing that happens is their head and neck snaps forward. And even in a relatively minor accident for kids, this can be a potentially deadly type of injury.
Unfortunately, parents often move their child to a forward-facing seat prematurely because they think their growing child may be uncomfortable riding rear-facing.
There are joints at the ankle, knee, and hip that all kind of act like a spring and allow your child to be able to tolerate an impact if they are rear-facing. And remember, which would we rather have injured, a foot or a head and neck? And the answer is we would much rather protect that head and the neck area.
Again,
I do hope that offers you some insight into the benefits of rear-facing. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen again, if I can work it out. And reshare my presentation. If I can work it out. Okay, you're all with me.
Can see the presentation and I can hear you.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so I think that kind of helps you understand what the importance of rear-facing. Of course, you are going to have some people that are going to say there is no long-term studies on how rear-facing will affect a child. However, this is your choice. If you want to move your child forward-facing earlier than 18 kilos, 13 kilos, that's your choice. So I'm just here to provide you with the fact that I am qualified to give you, and the rest is your decision. So if we have to look at rear-facing in summary, the forces of the head and neck are dramatically reduced. Child is forced into the back of the seat, spreading the force over a greater area. And if you can, keep your child rear facing for as long as possible. So Regulation 129 says 15 months, but best practice would be a minimum of 2 years, but preferably longer. So let's go on then to choosing a car seat. One of the most important things to look at when choosing a car seat is, will it fit into your car and will it fit your budget? It doesn't matter what it costs. If it doesn't fit into your car, it's not going to work. So the most important thing you can do is actually have the car seat fitted into your car and make sure it fits correctly. So make sure your seat belts are long enough. If you have an underfloor storage facility, please check your manual. Sometimes you can get like an insert for it, and sometimes you can take the lid off. Other times your user manual, your car manual might say that it is not a suitable position for a car seat. So take a look at that if you're going to use the load leg and your car has an underfloor storage facility. Then we have buckle crunch. So this picture that you can see is a car seat that my mother-in-law purchased for my son. It was fitted by Baby City, and she bought it home and was very excited, and it had buckle crunch. So what is buckle crunch? Buckle crunch is when the buckle of the vehicle seatbelt rests against the car seat itself. So this usually happens when the actual buckle is on quite a long stalk or webbing and not recessed into the vehicle itself. So usually on older cars, newer cars, the buckles tend to be recessed into the vehicle. The danger of buckle crunch is that in a side impact collision, the car seat is going to move against the buckle, and the buckle could rupture and break, and then the car seat is not secured into the vehicle at all. So buckle crunch, although less common with newer cars, is something that you do need to be aware of. New or used? If you're going to ask me, I'm going to say new, but I think that might be my personal experience and all the research I've done. If you're going to buy used, there are a number of questions you have to ask, and don't be afraid to ask them, because there is no way of knowing if that car seat is damaged by looking at it with the naked eye. You would have to x-ray the seat in order to get any idea if the car seat had been in an accident or dropped, and that's just not an affordable option, and it's not available. So you then have to go on trust, and trust didn't work for me, even though I knew the person. And all I can say is thank God that I did not put my son in these car seats. But you need to ask these questions. Has it been in an accident? Has it been dropped? Check the age, check the date of manufacture, find out when it expires. Has the car seat been stored? You know, maybe the previous owner, their child outgrew it and they thought maybe they would have a second baby or a third baby, and they didn't. So it's been stored in the garage, and now they've decided to sell it. So check how it's been stored. If it's been stored in the sun, not a good idea. Plastic does fatigue. So you need to ask that question. Has it been on a flight? If it's been on a flight, how was it packaged? If you've ever been on a flight, looked out the window and seen the way prams, etc., are taken out of the hold, you might be less inclined to put your car seat on a plane, especially if it hasn't been packaged correctly. Make sure it's got the manual and all the pieces. So does it have the infant insert? Does it have tethers? Does the load leg work properly? Then check for clear damage. So this kind of damage is going to be obvious to the naked eye. You will look for stress marks on the plastic, usually whitish or grayish in color. And then please take the cover off and check the ESP or the polystyrene under the car seat cover, because I will show you in the next slide what the ESP looked like on the car seats that I purchased secondhand. Then any recalls of car seats, check on that as well. If the car seat has had any recalls, a simple Google search will tell you. However, if the car seat is not a well-known brand or has been bought into the country under another name, it will be very difficult to see if there have been any recalls on that car seat. So please, that is something to bear in mind. So brace yourself for the car seats that I bought. Right, so these are the car seats that I bought from a trusted colleague. You can see there's 3 of them. So I bought one for each of the grandparents. That's a Recaro seat, which is one of the top car seat brands you can get, but that means nothing because the ESP or polystyrene on the side impact wings is held together on the side with masking tape. On the second one, when I took the cover off, this ESP actually fell right off. This one was still on, but cracked and broken off at the top. And then the third one cracked and broken at the top and held on with sellotape. When I asked her about it, she told me that she didn't know. So please just beware of buying secondhand. Okay, so newborn must knows. Infants are at risk when they go into a car seat, and it's strange because when we buy a travel system, it's so convenient because we just pop the car seat on the chassis of the pram and off we go. You know, it's multi-purpose, it's so convenient, etc., etc., but it's not safe. A car seat is not designed to be a place of sleep, and it's not designed to be a pram. It's designed to protect your baby in a car accident. Infants run the risk of positional asphyxia when they're very little, and that is because their lungs don't function optimally. There's overcrowding in the rib cage, and the lungs aren't in a position where they can be utilized effectively. So when they're placed in a cupped position, they're compressed even further, making it more difficult for them to work optimally. You might have seen or heard of head flop. So this is when baby's head flops forward in the car seat, and this will restrict the airway even more. However, this is only a problem when they don't have head and neck control. Once they've got neck control and their neck is strong enough, they will be able to lift their head up and open the airway themselves. However, when they're very little and unable to do this, it is a huge concern. So that is something you need to be aware of. Your infant car seat, or any car seat for an infant, whether it's infant specific or a combination car seat, needs to have a very good recline with a minimum of 45 degrees. You do get some car seats that virtually lie flat. The Cybex Sorona Z Cloud is one. Maxi Cozy have the Jade, which is actually like a carry cot that you can put in. So it's completely flat. But obviously the usage of that is a lot less in terms of time span. Travel duration for a baby, if they're low birth weight or prem, they shouldn't be in their car seat for more than 20 minutes at a time before you take them out. So be aware of that. Be aware of the duration of how long you're putting your baby into the car seat for, and whether you're using your car seat as a pram. Birth to 6 weeks, normal weight, you're looking at 20 to 30 minutes, and up to 6 months, they really shouldn't be in the car seat for more than 2 hours at a time. Even further than that, you want to limit the amount of time they spend in the car seat. And then just to reiterate, it is not designed to be used as a pram or a place to sleep. It is designed to be used as safety device. I'm going to go through some installation methods now. This first one is installation of an infant seat.
Okay, so today we're going to be fitting a Maxi Cozy infant car seat into our car using a seat belt. We're going to put baby into the car with the base of our seat firmly sitting on the car seat. I'm going to put this handle back just so you can see. One of the most common mistakes when a new parent fits in their infant car seat for the very first time is we wrap the seat belt around the car seat like that. This is a very big mistake and extremely dangerous. What you want to remember is the lap part of the seat belt must go over the lap of the child. It will install with guides. I'm going to pull this as much slack as I can out. Then I'm going to take the shoulder belts and go around the back and back through the blue guide. I'm now going to make sure that all the slack is out of the seat belt. Give it a jiggle, make sure there's no movement. Then it's very important to make sure that the handle of your infant car seat is in the correct position. Please check your manual to see where this should be. And the Maxi Cozy, it is upright to act as a roll bar.
Sorry about my little one there,
Okay, so
but
today we're going to be fitting a Maxi Cozy.
let's move on to the next one. Now I'm going to install a combination seat, again using seat belt.
Now we're going to install a combination seat using a seat belt. This seat can be installed rearward or forward facing. When installing a car seat rearward facing, we always follow the blue guides. When installing a car seat forward facing, we follow the red guides. We're installing this car seat rearward facing now, so we're going to be following all the blue guides. Unfortunately, my car seat belts are very short, so I've currently got the seat in the upright position, and I will move it when we are done. Taking our seat belt, the lap part of the belt, and putting it through onto the bottom of the chair, and then buckling the belt in like that, pulling out all the slack that you can, taking the shoulder part of the belt, wrapping it around the back of the seat, through this blue guide, and then the top blue guide. I'm going to pull out as much slack as I can, and pull it. Rearward facing this car seat, that needs to be in the most reclined position. So now I'm going to recline the seat. Once again, ensure that I have taken out as much slack as possible. Taking my non-dominant hand towards the base of the seat, giving it a jiggle, making sure it's got a nice tight fit. Now we're going to install a combination.
Okay, so I'm going to install an ISOFIX car seat now for you, which is probably the easiest one to install.
Now we're going to install an ISOFIX car seat. ISOFIX car seat is very easy to install and takes a lot of the user error out of installing a car seat. However, don't think that just because you don't have an ISOFIX car seat, your seat is less safe. That's not the case. What I'd like to start off with is just showing you what an ISOFIX bracket looks like. So if you have a look here, you should see a white metal bracket. That is the ISOFIX bracket that connects directly to the chassis of your car. Here we've got our ISOFIX arms and an indicator. We'll have a green or red marker to see if your car seat is correctly or incorrectly installed. Okay, so now that we know what we're looking at, we're going to take our ISOFIX arms, and now that we know where our brackets are, we are going to position our arms over where the brackets are. Okay, so make sure that I'm in the right place. And now we are going to give it a push, a firm push into the ISOFIX. Nice firm fit there, firm fit over here. I'm going to do the load leg. Before I do the load leg, let's make sure that my indicators are on green on both sides. My load leg, I have another green indicator here, and I'm good to go. Now we're going to install an ISOFIX.
Okay, so sorry, I know the sound wasn't great on that last one, apologies. There are a few essential things that I need you to know when you fit your child into the car seat. No thick clothing or puffy jackets. Thick clothing and puffy jackets will not allow you to make the harness tight enough, and especially if it's one of those puffy jackets that hold a lot of air. The harness needs to be directly against the child, so no puffy jackets. If they are wearing a hoodie, rather lift the hood up over their head so that the hood doesn't push their neck forward. Make sure your handle is in the correct position. Some handles, like this Peg Perego in the picture, that the seatbelt guide actually goes through the handle itself. So that handle is in the forward position. So please just make sure with regards to your car seat where the handle should go. If it's very hot, you might want to leave your hood down or off, just in terms of keeping the baby cooler, and make sure any projectiles are stowed away safely. This is something that I want you all to become very familiar with. This is the pinch test, and it is extremely important. This is what you need to do to ensure the harness is tight enough and will keep your child safe in the event of a collision. So if you can pinch the belts at the shoulder so that the webbing touches, it's too loose. If you try and pinch the webbing at the shoulder and you can't get it to touch, it slides out of your fingers, then it's fine, then it's tight enough. The height of your harness in rear facing needs to be at or just below the shoulders, and in forward facing it's going to be at or just above the shoulders. Okay, car seats are expensive, you know that, so insure them. Insure them under all risks, and make very sure that if you're speaking to a broker or insurance directly, that they understand that if the car is in a car accident, you want the car seat replaced. So best thing to do is take an excerpt out of your manual where it says that the car seat should be replaced after a car accident, and keep this as a paper trail just in case, in the unfortunate instance you are in a car accident and need to replace your seat. South Africa, our cars do get stolen, so another reason why to insure your car seat. But yeah, don't not insure it. You're looking at about 50 Rand a month under all risks, so it's well worth it. Right, here are your new mottos. You're going to max out those car seat limits. Okay, so if the car seat is 0 to 13 kilos or 72 centimeters, you are going to keep your baby in that car seat until they are either 13 kilos or 72 centimeters. Okay, then you will move to your next car seat. Don't be so anxious to move them into the next car seat. I want you to remember that snug is good. Rather have them in a tighter fitting seat rather than being a touch too small for the next size. So motorbike helmet, would you wear it if it was loose? No, you wouldn't. It has to be secure. So your car seat has to be secure to your baby as well. You want it to be a nice snug fit. And if possible, rear face as long as you can. Okay, I have a giveaway. I want to give away a car seat fitting and consultation to the value of 350 Rand. And in order to get this, I want you to make me laugh because this topic is so serious and gives me anxiety thinking about all the children who are strapped incorrectly. So make me laugh. What is the craziest pregnancy craving you have had or are currently having? Can we please just lighten this mood slightly? Okay, so virtual car seat fitting value is 350. Okay, if you would prefer me to cut, if you are Joburg based and you would prefer me to meet you at a shop to fit the seat for you, or if you already have a seat and you want to check installation, it would be 450. So 350 virtual, 450 if you want me to meet you at a shop. Another thing I just want to add while no one's peppering me with questions is that if you have your car washed or someone else uses your car or anything like that, it's very important that you check that the car seat hasn't been tampered with. So checking your car seat on a regular basis is extremely important. And don't be nervous to phone the manufacturer or phone somebody and get advice if you think something is not right. If you think something is not right, this is your child's safety. It doesn't matter if you think, oh, but maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not. So ask somebody, do the research, check the manual, give me a call, pop me a message, take it back to where you bought it, that kind of thing. Rather have it checked and go through your manual and install it a few times and make sure mom and dad can install it. Don't leave it up to one person to install. You never know when you might have to install the car seat and your significant other isn't there. Yeah, I know the first time I fitted my car seat, like my infant car seat, I installed it incorrectly. And, I had somebody even say to me, oh, but don't worry if your seat belts are too short. You can just, there's this hack. You can just like wrap the belt around the seat. And I was like, let me double check on that. But I mean, this is what people say, and it's a real thing. Another thing you might want to consider if you haven't already bought a car seat, just to keep in mind that a proper infant car seat, the one that, so not a combination seat, your regular infant car seat, like this kind of car seat. I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
Yes.
Is far better than a combination seat. You just get a much better fit with a proper infant car seat as opposed to a combination seat.
it's I can see why parents can be so overwhelmed, because honestly, there's a lot of information to take in. So I'm really glad that there'll be the replay so that they can go back and watch that. And thank you also for sharing those videos and making the talk so informative, Gail. Just another fantastic presentation from you, and to thank you once again for joining me, not just once but twice today, to share really amazing information that can potentially be so overwhelming and that is absolutely vital for new parents. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. Sorry it wasn't as fun as the previous one. It's such a serious topic. So
it is a serious topic, so it's difficult to make it fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I just hope that I've given everybody a little bit more info, and in no way the intention was to scare anybody. I just feel that we all need the information in order to make a proper decision and a purchase that we can be comfortable with.
Well, I'm just really glad there's people around like you who are willing to share that information and who are making services like you have available for new parents. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and we'll see you in the Due Date Club. I've already messaged you, and it's going to be wonderful to have you there, to be able to continue to share your expertise, to hop on for live Q&A with all the members so that you can discuss those things and troubleshoot car seat and reusable nappy challenges of new parents.
Yeah, I look forward to troubleshooting and getting to know everybody better. So thank you so much for having me. It's really been an honor, and I so appreciate it.